Hi, I'm Chris,
And Kathy.
and we're out here today out on Forest Service land. We're going to harvest some birch bark. Here's Kathy's permit from the Great Lakes Indian Fish and Wildlife Commission. There's the bark gathering, just so y'all know that she can be here and do this. We're also in an area where it's marked for timber sale, and we're also way back off on a road that is a dead-end road that nobody's really traveling on. We've already made our offering of tobacco, and so this is what we're going to do. We're going to take a piece of this here bark so we can make some baskets. What I do is, you don't want to cut in too deep into the bark. You can see how it's starting to peel already. They say when the wild strawberries are ripe, that's the time to start harvesting the bark. And you can see I'm not going deep into it at all. And it'll just start peeling. That's about as far as I want to go. And as you can see, it peels very easy. I'll get some nice baskets out of this, or Makaks. And here you can see I barely touched the inner bark. That's how you would properly peel the bark off the birch. You don't want to hurt the tree at all. So, miigwech.
Miigwech.
Okay, so now that we have our wigwas, we're gonna make a couple of Makaks or baskets. I don't have a pattern, I just do it out of my head, you know. So let's see, I want to cut it here. I'm gonna square that off a little bit, just eyeballing it. I don't use a ruler or nothing. Okay, and again, I don't use a pattern, so I'm just going to make a couple of V-cuts here. One there, one there. Turn it around. Same V-cuts, about the same distance in, same distance over here. Okay, there's my basket. Now it depends on whether you want the bark, the white on the out, which would be traditional. Put a couple of clamps there. Do the same thing on this side. Put some clamps there. There you go. Now you got that. So now what I would do is I would take my awl or my goose, and I would punch a couple holes here. Just take my artificial sinew or a disc, and I would just sew through there a few times and tie it off. And then Kathy would do this here part. She'll take a couple strands of this and clamp it along the top like this. Then she would sew it on with a disc or the sinew. Now if you wanted a bigger basket, cut a bigger piece of bark. Take a bigger piece of bark and go, if you wanted higher walls to the basket, go in a little bit further. Go a little bit deeper with the cut. If you want, depends. You can use the same thing on every basket. It's just moving your initial cuts around. So I'll do another one. This one will be a little longer basket. say you wanted to make a winnow for
A winnowing
rice?
basket?
Yes.
Yeah.
Then when you do it, don't go quite all the way up with it. Leave it more like that. And then all you have to do is cut the bark off on those angles there. And there, now you got a flatter for winnowing. Okay, so we do different things here. Some our other baskets that we've made. Here's some discs that I cut out, different sizes. And then I wrap the bark around it this way. And then she sews it up. A little bit bigger basket, I'll stitch it up the side. Just use a few nails on the bottom here to hold that other piece of bark on. And there you go. Here's a canoe. Jimon that we made. And here now the pattern is the one that I did make for the canoe. Here's just lay it on the flat, trace it out, fold it up. Then she sews it again with a disc along the edge. So there, some people were on our Facebook group were wondering how we made them baskets and how we cut the bark. So there, I hope we answered the questions. So, Miigwech.
Miigwech.